Hello everyone, my name is Alex Scolastici and I'm a sociology major at Cal State Long Beach. In this video, we're going to take a look at how environmental racism affects some of the coastal communities of Southern California. Let's start by defining environmental racism. Dr. Robert Bullard, who many consider the father of environmental justice, defines environmental racism as any policy, practice, or directive that differentially affects or disadvantages, whether intended or unintended, individual groups or communities based on race and color. Now, let's see what environmental racism looks like in some of the communities of Southern California. The communities of Wilmington, Carson, and West Long Beach are geographically located in the southern portion of LA County. Carson, West Long Beach, and Wilmington make up an area of about 72 square miles. About 48% of this land is zoned for industrial uses, freeways, roadways, railways, utilities, and communication services. Only about 25% is zoned for residential living. This area is known as the Diesel Death Zone, and it is surrounded by three busy freeways, the 710, the 405, and 110, the ports of Long Beach and LA, which are the two largest and busiest in the United States, and is also home to the third largest oil field in the country. According to the South Coast Air Quality Management District, the community's rate of asthma-related emergency department visits are more than 40% higher than the state average, and the community also experiences higher rates of linguistic isolation, poverty, unemployment, and other social and economic disadvantages compared to state averages, all factors that contribute to environmental racism. More than half of the residents living in this area are Hispanic or Latina. Data collected by Smart Air LA in collaboration with the Long Beach Alliance for Children with Asthma gave the city of Carson a rating of 99 on the asthma danger score, with 100 being the worst score. West Long Beach got a rating of 96, and the community of Wilmington a rate of 86. A few miles away, in the predominantly white, affluent community of Rancho Palo Verdes that you can see in the background, the score drops to 20. Schools located in the LA Long Beach Harbor region, where asthma rates are highest, have disproportionately high rates of absenteeism. The high rate of school absence impacts the educational achievement of Hispanic and Latino children, as well as their future financial security and health. This is the Terminal Island Freeway, which connects the ports of Long Beach and LA to West Long Beach. What you see on the train tracks are rail tank cars which transport liquid commodities like chemicals, diesel fuel, ethanol, and other highly polluting and hazardous materials. On the other side of this freeway, there's an elementary school. The school you can see here is Hudson Elementary. As you can see, it's located in very close proximity to train tracks, refineries, and freeways. The children attending the school are exposed daily to very high levels of air pollution. 1 in 5 children attending Hudson Elementary has asthma. That's 20% of the students in the school. For reference, the national average is 9.6%, so this school has more than double the national average. Ports of Long Beach and LA, as well as the nearby railroads used to transport goods, are major sources of pollution for the residents of these communities. But the ports, refineries, and other industrial operations in the area are also a source of employment for the residents. So the local economy depends on these jobs. Companies also donate large amounts of money to schools, youth programs, health clinics, and other local organizations. They will often fund environmental projects like parks, landscaping, etc., to mitigate residents' concerns about the environment. An example of this is the Wilmington Waterfront Park, which is a project paid for by the Port of LA. This area was a 30 acres brownfield. Brownfields are formally developed or industrialized sites that may be contaminated due to past industrial activities that were taking place on the site. This area was transformed into a park for the purpose of protecting the surrounding community from the port's impact, like noise, pollution, and other harmful activities. While the area has certainly been improved, and residents benefit from a green and pleasant space where they can walk, bike, play, and congregate, they are still being impacted by the hazardous effect of the port activity. Environmental racism extends beyond the harm inflicted on residents' health. Just 2 miles away from the Wilmington Waterfront Park, vulnerable and marginalized communities are experiencing housing and food insecurities, both of which stem from the same economic and political systems that cause environmental degradation in the area. Dr. Julie Z., professor of American Studies and author, emphasizes the importance of redefining and expanding the concept of environment to include the people that live within it. It's important to view displacement and gentrification not as issues that are separate from the environmental justice discourse, but rather as integral parts of it. It is also important to understand that the same policies and practices that determine who lives in an environmentally degraded environment are the same that cause housing and food insecurities amongst poor people of color. This sentiment is echoed by sociologist and author David Pellow, who invites us to adopt a critical environmental justice lens when analyzing environmental issues. Like Dr. Z, Pellow advocates for a view of the environment that is inclusive of places and spaces where people exist. For Pellow, it is also important to recognize the role of the state in creating, reinforcing, and reproducing the conditions that cause socio and environmental issues, and treats marginalized communities like the one shown in this video as expendable, and their environment as sacrifice zones. In his book, What is Critical Environmental Justice?, Pellow states that all communities are indispensable to building socially, environmentally just, and resilient futures for us all. The residents of Carson, West Long Beach, and Wilmington have been organizing for years, demanding refinery regulations and emission cuts, the installment of air quality monitors, the removal of the sources of pollution, and a push for a total commitment to clean energy. They have been lobbying and working with local and state legislators to implement meaningful and permanent changes that benefit their communities rather than corporations. What can be done to support these residents in their fight for environmental justice? Take a toxic tour and familiarize yourself with the issues affecting the communities. Support and volunteer at existing local advocacy groups, like Communities for a Better Environment, the Wilmington chapter, California Environmental Justice Alliance, and Just Environment Long Beach. Connect with the community and create an action group that addresses multiple environmental concerns such as pollution, food insecurity, housing security, etc. Advocate for a more radical approach to environmental justice reform that goes beyond looking for the state to help. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video.